Welcome to StraitJacket Podcast. Today we had Jackie O.
She had a really inspirational story about substance use, mental health, and family dynamics. So we're here with Jackie. And Jackie, if you can introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, my name's Jackie. I'm a case manager. I work in treatment. I'm a recovering addict. I spent 9 years addicted to heroin and probably a bunch of other substances. I grew up in Panama, and then I moved to Montana, which is like the complete opposite of Panama. And I don't know, I think when I was younger, I experienced a lot of loss in my life really young. Within the same year, my brother got murdered and my dad committed suicide 4 days after I moved in with him. And my home life before that was just kind of crazy as well. So I never really coped with anything. I just kind of went crazy with everything I did in my life. And I don't think, I was honestly probably an addict before I ever touched a substance. I did everything to the extreme. But yeah, now I've got a whole new mindset in life, which is crazy. My life's so different today than it was 5 years ago.
And what do you think started that? Because for how many, did it take you a while to get there?
Well, I spent 2 years in rehab consecutively. And then before that, jail. I was in the hospital for 4 months right before I decided to come to rehab because I almost died. I got a bad heart infection and then a bad blood infection in jail from bad jail tattooing because I made terrible decisions. And even that wasn't really enough to scare me and to stop using. And even when I came out to California, it was just to try to get out of the shitty lifestyle I was living. Because at the end it got pretty scary. But I wasn't ready to be sober, I don't think. Because at first I was I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not an alcoholic, I'm an addict. So I would try to get away with drinking all the time, which doesn't work when you're in rehab. And honestly, in life, when you're trying to find shortcuts and everything, it just puts you back. So I like to learn things the hard way. Super hard way all the time.
And has that changed?
Probably a little bit. Yeah, I try to be more. I think today I'm more aware when I'm making stupid decisions. I can pinpoint when I'm making the wrong choice out of either laziness or just because I don't want to do something. I've got better discernment today in my decisions, which honestly has given me, in my work for treatment, I really do believe almost anybody can change because of the complete 180 my mindset has turned into. Because before I never thought I would, I never imagined this being my life, and I'm enjoying it, you know what I mean? Yeah. I have real blessings in my life today, and that's crazy. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
What do you think what do you think changed your, life and mental health the most?
In a negative way or positive?
In a positive way.
So especially for my addiction, I think a lot of my using and the crazy lifestyle I lived was because I wanted to numb out everything. And you can't really you don't get to selectively numb out emotions or thoughts or anything like that. You numb everything when you start to numb. So when I started to have good things happen again in my life and I was seeing good things happen to other people in my life because of the good decisions I was making, even if they sucked, sometimes doing the right thing sucks. Just to not be a burden to everybody around me or a liability because I can be kind of crazy. It's amazing, really. People trust me nowadays. I trust me, which is weird, you know?
And you're reliable and all that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So, you said you experienced a lot of loss like early on in your life. So, how did you like deal with that with your mental health?
I would say I didn't deal with any of it. I just like I suppress things and I run
Mhm.
from them. So I started drinking probably at about 12, 13 at the latest. Because that's just what my family did. Like we would it was just around a lot. I started selling weed and acid when I was in 7th grade. I would bring bottles of vodka as like a water bottle in 8th grade, and like from like I was just never sober. I never dealt with anything. I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie. I've always been that way, but I think it's because I don't want to deal with whatever normal feelings I have.
Right.
I'd rather have something crazy extreme going on that I can like pinpoint in the moment. Yeah.
So now, how did that change? How did you go on your mental health journey?
I don't think there's like any one thing that like has gotten me there. It's just been like a lot of hard work that I didn't want to do, but like I knew I was going to die or go back to a terrible life, that like I'm starting to have good things happen to me, and then I can like see that and appreciate that. That I don't want to lose. And like today I have my freedom, which is very important to me. I don't want to go back to jail either, or prison. That I at least got out before that, or death. I want to do cool things with my life. My life was spent doing, from a very young age, like just crazy shit. I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah.
It's
And
all right. You can say whatever you want.
and like now, like my goal is to have good experiences with good people around me who are like actually my friend. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like I can't put a price on that now.
Mhm.
Um, working in rehab, I never wanted to work the 12 steps. I thought it was stupid.
Mhm.
I didn't think I needed to talk about my feelings or things that had happened or fucked up things I did. But in the end, that's like when I started doing that, because I'd rather do anything than that.
Yeah.
I'll gladiator style fight somebody before I have to talk about my feelings. But now my life is really changing. Like it's really changing, and so I'm gonna stick to doing shit I don't want to do because I know that it gets me and people that I love to a better place.
Yeah. That's where the growth comes in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is there any advice that you would give people that are struggling with mental health or addiction?
You're the only person who's actually going to be able to help you. You have to do the hard shit. Like, you got to get up when you don't want to get up. You got to eat the food you don't want to eat. You got to go to the gym when you don't want to go to the gym. You got to go to the DMV when you don't want to go to the DMV. You have to go to work when you don't want to go to work. For me, it's you got to go to meetings when you don't want to go to meetings. Because I listen to a lot of things about how like that changes the wiring or something in your brain, like the contrary action. It builds, I don't know, it builds like your character in a way that you're able to handle more without falling back on like whatever safety net you might have.
Mhm.
So, and I trashed any safety net I had before I came here. Like I didn't have any family, I didn't
Mhm.
know anybody, I didn't have any money left. I was just in rehab, so I had to like it was terrible. But now I know like I value all my shit that I have today and the places I am. Even if sometimes I get a little ungrateful, like I just have to remember where I came from, which it's easy to get ungrateful. I try really hard not to do that, to fall back into old thinking patterns, but as long as I can like be aware of when or like catch myself when I'm like being ungrateful or getting agitated with things that shouldn't really matter, that they're not going to matter next week, like I can at least do something about it or like be better about it in the
Yeah.
future, because we're not perfect all the time. That's for sure. We don't really reach a peak in our life where we handle everything well and we're happy all the time. Life's crazy and life gets lifey, as they say. So you just learn to handle it better. And especially for me, I've built a connection, like a support group however small, like I have a real support group that I can lean on when I'm like lost in life or I'm confused or I'm dealing with a lot of heavy shit. Like I have safety nets now that are like real. They're not like foxhole things that I've made myself.
Yeah.
What is your view on like treatment, like facilities and institutions?
I think treatment works for people who want it. Because if you don't put in the work, if you're not ready to look at yourself or like your life or try to be self-aware, or if you don't think there's anything wrong with the things you're doing, you're not going to change because you don't see a problem with it. Some people who don't think they've hit rock bottom, they're not ready to change. Because life hasn't gotten bad enough, but if you're not happy, like do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a fine line of like treatment can be amazing, but if somebody's not willing to listen to any of the information they're receiving, it doesn't matter. Hopefully, maybe they'll remember it one day and it'll click. But
and it can sometimes like lay the foundation.
yeah,
But yeah, they have to be ready to hear that information. So, how do you deal with your feelings now?
well, I try to journal. I'm not very good at it. I used to journal a lot more. Because then a way I can like look back and see where my mindset was a week ago, a month ago, and like see all the things that I've just been going through since then. Because I think once you get into a routine, like things get repetitive and you're not aware of all the emotions and shit you got going on. I talk to people, which is really not easy for me. Like when you're in AA or NA, whatever you do, when you go to meetings, you're supposed to talk to people. You're supposed to open up to people. And I don't like that. I don't want to get your number. I don't want to hang out with you after the meeting. But like, that's another thing that I've had to do, like the contrary action thing, like reach out, make friends. Cause people care if you actually like are honest with them and genuine, and you can do the same for them one day or to somebody else. I go to the gym a lot. Been trying to eat better. Just like little things that help me with my mental health to keep me on track, I guess. Because I can get impulsive. I can get like ungrateful. But I have things that I value today. So I try to keep myself grounded when I lose sight of that.
Yeah. How did like therapy take a part in your journey?
So honestly, therapy has been like a super hit or a super miss. Because when I first got sober, I had a therapist tell me like you're unloading too much and like you're gonna need to continue therapy way on after this. And I was like, what the
Wow.
fuck? But since then, like I've had therapists who have like helped me. Like people have tried to tell me things my whole life, but like sitting down with a therapist and they can like talk to me, like I've had like realizations that I never would have had before, even about dumb little things that like stick with you, so you're able to change patterns and be aware of that shit.